Hello Digital Circus fans. In today's video, we will be talking about some scenes from episode 8 of the Amazing Digital Circus and how they might affect later on episodes. The only one episode, I know, but let's hop into it really quick. So a lot of the Amazing Digital Circus fans have watched the new episode, and there's one scene that everybody's pretty much stuck on, and it's where Kane goes crazy and puts everybody in a dark room with all their fears. Now, we know what some of these fears mean, and I'm going to explain them to you right now. First, let's talk about Gangle's fear. Now, I think Gangle's fear in this one is the fear of bad art. And I'm not just saying this it's just a little fear. I think it's a massive fear of being a failure or being a failure at art, because in one of the previous episodes, Gangle did say she went to community college for 3 or 4 years, but then dropped out and kind of gave up, I think. But I think that's why she has such a big fear of being a failure or not being enough, because she dropped out of community college. Next, let's look at Jax's fear. Now, Jax's fear is pretty interesting because it is pretty reasonable, and I think it is the fear of being stared at or being laughed at by close ones, or just being laughed at in general. Because here in this photo, you can see Pomni, Ribbit, and Kaufmo all laughing at Jax, and they're peeling off skin, making fun of him, and obviously laughing at him. And he's trying to cover himself back up, but it doesn't seem to work if you watch the episode. And I just feel kind of bad for Jax, so that's Jax's fear. The next person I wanted to talk about was Zubal's fear. Now, Zubal's fear is pretty interesting because there's a lot going on in this photo. She's trying to escape from a bunch of parts, of her body. And I think she has the fear of just, being ugly. And this is a really bad fear to have because it's just self-doubt and a lot of other things. So before I get more into this, just remember that you are loved and that you are special, and don't ever feel the need to be sad about anything. Anyways, Zubal's fear is quite interesting, like I stated before. She has the fear of being just ugly in general, and she just doesn't want to look at herself, and that's why she stays away from adventures, because she might be scared there are mirrors, just generally, anywhere in the adventure, and she just doesn't want to look at herself. Now, this may not be true because all of these are just theories, remember this, but yeah, that's Zubal's fear. The next fear I wanted to talk about is Pomni's fear, and this is the last one I'm going to talk about before we get deeper into the video, to the key part of the video, which is Ragatha's fear, but we have to wait and see Pomni's fear first. So, Pomni's fear is quite interesting. It's a bunch of, different colored gummy goos, kind of, biting her and, just trying to tear her apart, which is kind of sad because at first when Pomni entered the circus, she really cared about gummy goo. They were besties, But then Kane just kind of, killed Gummy Goo, and it was really sad to see that and see her freaking out, but I think this is the fear of being backstabbed by close friends, and I have this fear too. I totally relate to her, and I understand not wanting to lose any friends or not wanting to feel like not enough, so I really feel you, Pomni girl. Now, here we are to the most important part of the video, is Ragatha's fear. Now, Ragatha's fear has a lot of controversy because we kind of got a good hint of what the other characters' fears were, but not Ragatha's. And she's kind of sitting at this table, and this figure that looks like her is standing over her, and it's very creepy. But you can see there's no one else at the tables, at the other, seats, sorry. And, it's just, really confusing, because nobody really knows, what it is besides Gooseworks and maybe the voice actors, or maybe the voice actor of Ragatha. but like nobody really knows. And I have a couple theories about this. So number one, I think the like lady or the demonic version of Ragatha standing there, I think it might be a family member or her mom, because her mom is supposed to look like her, and she does have a bad history with her mom, because they all kind of like vent to each other and tell each other's backstories in episode 4 or 5, and they all just kind of vented to each other. And Ragatha was like, I don't really have a good relationship with my mom. I don't really miss the yelling. And it was just kind of sad because, because I don't want to be like a disappointment to my family or anything too. So, but it might be her mom getting mad at her. It might be like a sister or like an aunt. We don't know, but my guess is probably her mom, because I'm just guessing. No, not guessing. I'm just saying she has a bad relationship with her mom. And you always want to have a good relationship with your mother, right? She, like, gave birth to you and raised you. So, I think she's just scared of, like, letting down family members. Or she's scared of family members and her mom. Especially, sorry. I'm doing this, like, with no script. I'm just, like, improving this. So, sorry if I mess up a lot and say words wrong. But anyways, I think that is Ragatha's fear, and this is concerning because I really don't, like, understand this a lot, and I want to learn more, and I just watched, like, episodes 1 through 8. It took me, like, 3 hours. So I'm gonna learn more about this topic and maybe create a video about this, in the future, and probably look back on this video and be like, wow, I was so wrong about everything. So I hope you enjoyed this video of uncovering conspiracy theories, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Goodbye.